Nelly Zapata Castillo,
Here.
Elena Padilla Macias,
Here.
Elizabeth Diaz, Wuyi Harari,
Here.
is here on Zoom. Alex Lujan,
Here.
Javina Madan,
Here.
on Zoom. Ruby Garcia, Ashlyn Batista, Daniel Perez, Jennifer Ruiz, Gage Mowry,
Here.
Nicholas Tappan,
Here.
Trinidad Hellman, McKenna Carlson,
Here.
Kayla Hyun, Fiza Omer, Rhea George,
Here.
on Zoom. Elena Shavandarian,
Here.
on Zoom. Asta Shaw, William Simpson,
Here.
Faisal El Khoury, Piper Lord, Erica Yu, Jacqueline Chang,
Here.
Avantika Ramasamy,
Here.
Bano
Here.
Hong,
Here.
Leslie Vallejo Avila,
Here.
Rishi Eduardo Tapia Jr. Viera,
Here.
Jacob Hong,
Here.
Janisha McCadney,
Here.
William Maheen.
Here.
23 out of
Point of information.
one present.
I believe like we said that some people on Zoom said here, but they like we can hear
I got them.
it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Since we have quorum, we will now proceed with today's business. I will now open it up for public input. During public input, I invite members of the public who wish to speak for up to 3 minutes to address the associated students on any issue relating to higher education or items on the order of business. If you would like to be recognized, please raise your hand and you will be called in the order that I see you. Would anyone like to speak? No? All right, I'll be closing public input and move on to the next item. I will now entertain a motion to adopt today's order of business. Is there a motion to adopt? Second. Are there any objections or any changes?
I'd like to add a change. I'd like to motion to add under new business, Senator or finance action item, Senator project, mirror Senator Carlson Earth Day event. Pro staff already has the language for it. But for everyone in Senate, I have an attachment that I sent in the Senate channel that outlines the budget breakdown of $300.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it has been properly motioned. Are there any other, oh wait, no, we had to vote on it. If we will now be conducting a vote to add this item onto the order of business. For those who would like to add this to the order of business, please raise your hands. You may put your hands down. If you would like to vote no, raise your tag/hand. Seems like there are no votes. Are there any who would like to abstain? Please raise your tags or hands. All right, it looks like it was unanimous. We will be adding CFO Hong's item to the order of business. Are there any additional changes or objections to today's order of business?
Yes, I would like to motion to add 2025 hiring guidelines, special appointment as a presentation, under special presentations. And
Is
then
there-
also, like,
Is there a second?
Second.
We will now be, since it has been properly motioned, we will be going to a vote. Are there, please raise your hand if you would like to add CPO McCadney's item onto the order of business. Please put your tags down or your hands down. If you would like to vote no, please raise your hand or tag. All right, seems like there's no votes. Are there any abstentions? Please raise your name tag or hand. All right, it looks like it's unanimous. So we will be moving forward with adding CPO McCadney's item to the order of business. Are there any other changes or objections to today's order of business? All right, it looks like we have no other objections or changes to the order of business. So if we don't have any other changes, we will be voting on adopting today's order of business. Yes. What's your motion?
Sorry, I motion to approve the order of business.
Okay, is there a second? All right, are there any objections? All right, since we have no objections, we'll just move forward with today's order of business. We will now be moving on to special presentations. I'll now open it up for special presentations. Before we begin, I want to remind speakers that you have 15 minutes for your presentation and there will be a 5-minute Q&A afterwards. Is your presentation available on Onboard already? All right, TPO McCadney, you have the floor.
okay, so this is gonna be more of an informal presentation. That's why I submitted the PDF for you guys to kind of follow along with the general guidelines. They're better understood if you kind of just see them written. So this is just gonna be an overview of the hiring procedures that are updated as of last week's ledge, which kind of changed our hiring committee, the makeup of our hiring committee, and then also a couple things that we have to do in advance, which is what we're going to do today, which is like electing our Senate hiring oversight committee. So just to start, prior to this legislation, there was a couple things that would have been done had it not been introduced week 3. That should have happened week 1. In step 1, you're going to kind of see an understanding of how we are going to select the oversight. That would have been an election happening earlier in the quarter, where we would select 3 senators to be a part of a committee that will handle the initial round of applications for all of our appointed positions, as well as just being like our general like Senate body to kind of make sure they're a part of our appointment process. Usually appointments are made up of only the incoming executive officers with the president and then the outgoing position. This basically allows for Senate to have the part of a say so. And then we're gonna go through. So the chief personnel officer is going to play a big part of being responsible for gathering the questions for applications, private interviews, and public interviews. I don't know if you all are familiar, but all of our appointment processes follow a 3-step plan, which is basically an application process. And then we select 3 to 5 people that are going to move forward for a private interview, and then 2 people who are going to be public interviewed in person in front of, hopefully, what we try to make is like an event for it, but sometimes via Zoom. This year, we're going to make them all in person. The chief personnel officer will basically gather all of that information so that we can start that process by opening the applications and selecting the questions. Hold on, guys. This is new too. But the SHOT committee at this point would be able to veto questions if they do not feel like the committee is having them best represent the position or feel like they are a overreach on the part of the committee. That's where SHOT would normally have a say so, but because this ledge came in after we had already opened the applications, we technically have moved past that step. All of the applications had to be opened for a minimum of 10 business days, so 2 weeks. They closed this Friday at 11:59 as they were opened 2 weeks before that date. If we do not reach 3 applicants for every single appointed position, we will continue to keep them open. Usually we do them in increments of a week. That can be decided by the committee though, if they need to be shorter periods of time. After that, all committee members will have to complete the implicit bias training. This is basically a training just making sure that you are aware, at least from the UC aspect, of how to properly hire people, not taking account of personal bias or personal information that you know about them prior to the application process. This is hopefully a training that helps mitigate that. Moving on to step 2, this is the formation of all committees. So the biggest difference here is that we no longer have the entire incoming elected exec. We only have the incoming president moving forward, as well as the outgoing president. Some of the positions have the outgoing EVP, and then obviously the outgoing officer and or AVP, depending on the position. And then now the Senate Hiring Oversight Committee. The entire committee will have to sit on the entire Senate Oversight Committee will be a part of every step of the process for the C-levels, but only the chair will have to be present for the AVPs. That way, kind of helps a little bit with not having to overwork them as much. But these are the makeup of the committees. This is how we're going to follow suit for all of those. And then the upcoming part of the process that we're going to focus on is interviews. So after applications close this Friday, we will then have the Senate Hiring Oversight Committee grade the written applications. That was another major change added to this ledge, is that instead of the entire committee checking all applications and grading amongst themselves, now it is only the 3 committee members that would do the applications in terms of grading, instead of the entire committee. And they will present the highest scored, and then from there, the committee can decide how many of them they want to move forward. Once again, it's a minimum of 3, maximum of 5 that would be able to move on to private interviews. These would be done via the rubrics in the PDF. I realize that you guys don't have access, so I'll send the link in a second. But it's our traditional rubric. What is it? 4 sections, 5 sections, fit, teamwork, experience, vision, community. You grade out of 10, highest scored usually move forward. Once again, the committee gets to decide how many of those do so. After that, I believe we're gonna have whoever in that committee wants to delegate the task of sending out the private interviews. That process will begin. Once again, that will be graded, but that will be graded by the entire committee. Once that's graded by the entire committee, the highest scoring 2 will move on to public interview. Public interviews will take place prior to Senate or prior to Assembly, depending on scheduling conflicts. That way we can have both the current Senate, incoming Senate, and any people that want to just come visit in our like open forums format, come ask questions. The C-levels are 60 minutes and the AVPs have 30-minute time slots. And that is kind of following our traditional public interview format. After that, after the final one. Actually, William, I do have a question for you. After our final public interview, usually the applicant that scores the highest will be the one that is appointed, and then that will be presented to the Senate at week 10. Senate meeting where we'll be able to give all of the information on the voting, the public interviews, the private interviews, and we will be able to present that, and then Senate can vote to confirm or deny any of the appointed positions. That also is like a very like general overview. This is written a lot more clear, but just to kind of, sum it up really fast. If you do have any more questions, like specific things that you're unsure about or that I'm not super clear about, please ask me in the question time. But this is me just kind of running through it. But yeah, essentially, that is kind of what we updated. Once again, this is based off of the adopted ledge from last week. So it is also written out within our new standing rules. I believe that's updated on the website. So that's where this all comes from. It's just put into a nice sheet. But yeah. My time to the floor.
All right. We will now be opening it up for a 5-minute Q&A session. Thank you so much for your presentation, by the way. Would anyone like to ask any questions? Please raise your tag. Yes, Senator Simpson.
So I had a question when it comes to the members that make up the Senate Oversight Hiring Committee. I just wanted to get like a confirmation. It is the outgoing campus-wide senators and the college senators who have been reelected.
Yeah, so as it will be the campus-wide senators that will be, it's everybody who is able to turn out who is not turning out before week 10 and or after. So campus-wide senators that are staying here to week 10 or college senators if they are reelected, yeah. Just they have to be here until week 10.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Please raise your tag. All right. Oh, yeah.
Just What's
Senator
the
Weiss.
logic in terms of the AVP only having the chair be on the hiring committee rather than the entire Senate oversight?
Yes, I'm gonna yield it to the person that wrote it or one of the people that wrote it. I don't know if Nick or William answer. William. I'll give my time to William.
Yes, great question. I think when we were writing legislation and when I was working with Nick, Senator Tappan, some concerns over like Senate or like committee composition came up and like the feasibility of having so many members on one kind of hiring committee because in last year's hiring process, sometimes it's hard to have that many people score all these applications and then it just gets bogged down with people not scoring in time and then you have to worry about many members trying to score. So that's why it was reduced to just that one. I yield my time back to 9.
Yes, Senator Simpson.
Okay, so also, I know some of these positions you need a part of the hiring committee are like pro staff or like departments, I believe. I forgot which exact ones, but like what's the process and how are we going to communicate to them to make sure that they're a part of this process? I yield my time to.
I believe that we're like gaining all those contacts right now, and then I think we're gonna reach out to them naturally. The only one that was like specifically written into our guidelines is the head of campus events, and then I believe the marketing specialist, just because those are technically like someone employed through us, so we can kind of like confirm that they will be in the hiring committees. Everything else will be more like volunteer based, just if they want to provide their input. But we don't necessarily have to move forward with them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, it looks like we have no further questions. So thank you so much for your presentation, CPO Chad. I will now be moving on to office reports. Are there any reports from senators that would like to report? Yes. Senator Bautista.
I'll just repeat what I said in assembly earlier, but we're meeting with Patty Mahathi May 9th about safe parking again and parking equity. Last meeting, they basically elaborated that they shot down our project idea, but we're open to like the idea of like not having safe parking on campus because like I don't know, whatever reasons, but like they were looking to like outbranch or like collab with other like organizations outside of campus, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, I guess talking to them about what that looks like, and they were interested in like our parking equity project we proposed a long time ago, but that we kind of put on the back burner for safe parking. But anyways, and then on my end, I'm reaching out to like some community partners as well to kind of direct them in a good space if they do want to like collab outside of campus and things like that. So talking to like the city of San Diego that has a safe parking program and like Jewish Family Services that like houses that program as well. So an update there.
Thank you so much for that update. Would anyone else like to make an update? All right, it looks like there are no other senator reports. We'll be moving on to AS offices. Are there any reports from offices? CFO Hong, you may go.
I'm just going to repeat what I said at assembly, so that it's for the record. But for the spring salary budget, I anticipate to start the salary budget process week 7, as our governing documents states that it's due week 10 and must be passed by week 10. If many of you don't know, the spring salary budget outlines the backbone for the preliminary and executive budget, which entails all our career staff employee line items, our new income, reserves, and things of those sorts. And then for the second part of my update, I'm ordering that all AS offices to finalize necessary purchases by the end of week 6, Friday at 5 p.m. This helps mitigate last minute spending and excess spending. This essentially helps us close the books. And if there are any purchases made after, there must be notice of communication with a plan and a timeline that justifies the expenses that are after week 6. So, for example, if you're hosting an event, I would need some sort of logistics plan, things of those sorts, and you can email me or Slack me. Thank you.
Any other offices that would like to make a report? Yes, TPO McCartney.
So it's just a quick brief thing, but Williams, well, CCO Maheen, look at my, I can't. Okay, so CCO Maheen, his election that we're gonna do for the Senate Hiring Oversight Committee, that I think we're gonna speak on a little bit more when we open it up. But that election is basically gonna be those 3 senators that we want to be in the committee that are gonna handle the appointment process alongside us. It's gonna be a bit of like a time crunch. All of the applications and all of the appointments need to be confirmed by June 4th or whatever day is Wednesday of week 10. So we're already in week 4 and the applications will close till this Friday. So we have about 5 weeks to figure out 15 positions. So just know that the time crunch in terms of grading is gonna be pretty back to back. And that if you are a part of the committee, you will be handling all of the written applications. So at least 45, I believe. It's 3 for all 15 positions. So at least 45 written applications. But that is just a little bit about like the workload. But please, if you are interested in being a part of that process at all, or being able to have any part of a say so other than just your public vote, please try to get in the committee, appoint yourself. Also, give grace throughout the appointment process. We will be having these public interviews at both Senate and Assembly throughout the coming weeks. So if you hear that we're going to be having any of those and some stuff is going to have to get pushed back, just understand that we're just trying to make sure that we finish up the entire roster for next year so that everything is set in stone before our terming out. And then lastly, banquet. Banquet, as I think I've been saying for the last little bit, is May 22nd from 6 to 10 p.m. at the San Diego Natural History Museum. We did rent the whole thing out. It's very pretty. I'm really excited to see it. I've also looked at the food quotes, so we're gonna get some good, nice food. I made sure it's gonna be very nice. But please make sure you dress up, come out, enjoy a good night with all your AS people. I think it's pretty late in the quarter, so it's also gonna be one of the last times that everybody's gonna be there to mingle. But yeah, 6 to 10 p.m. at the Natural History Museum. I am trying to work out a way to have charter buses kind of help for those that don't have cars. But I do ask that if you do have a car and you are a part of our office or have any friends, to also help out with like carpooling. There's a lot of parking down there at Balboa Park. So yeah, but those are my updates.
Thank you so much. I'll go next. So for the Office of Executive Vice President, I do have an event this Friday on the 25th from 12 to 3 p.m. on Sudgod Lawn. It is an event called Safe Vibes, and it's an event that cultivates empowerment, consent, and well-being resources. There's also going to be a lot of free stuff. I'm not going to say what kind of free stuff, but there's going to be a lot of free stuff. So you guys should definitely go. And if you guys can repost the post, please do. Other than that, that is all of what I need to report. Next is Madam President.
Hi everyone. Yesterday I was in Oakland for the UC Council of Presidents meeting, which is the council where all of the graduate and undergraduate student body presidents throughout the whole UC system are part of this council. I met with President Drake and we talked about various items such as support for our international student community, as well as expecting an update in regards to the next incoming UC president, which has not been decided yet. So we don't know who will be the new president. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully by the next Regents meeting in May, we should find out. Also wanted to share that Adelante, which is a Latinx celebration that I have been part of for the past 3 years, and this is my second year chairing this event, will be happening next Tuesday, so the day before next week's Senate. It will be happening from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 6 College West Lawn. It is a Latinx identity like rooted celebration. However, it is open to all students. We will be having free delicious food, amazing artists coming. Thank you to Campus Events who got us 2 artists such as Sophie Castillo, who is a British Latino artist, and someone else named Ariel. So please come. It'll be great. We're still promoting it and we'll have free merch as well. And we have 18 student organizations confirmed the table, as well as mariachi and ballet folklorico performing. We will be blocking off all of the 6 College Road. So just keep that in mind if you take the school bus. But yeah, I hope to see you all there. I'm very excited for that. I also again will be have began transitioning the new executive team and have coordinated to have them meet our campus administration for exactly 4 weeks from now. And it will be the same day as the banquet. And I will also, my office will be doing food for thought again. So if you don't remember, it was when we distributed free food. So we currently have moms confirmed and Shake Smart as well. This will be happening 2 weeks from now. So stay tuned for that. And I have officially launched the grad pack application. It is on the ASUCSD and President Instagram. So please share that. It will be open for exactly 1 week. And this is a strict deadline because the bookstore has already gracefully extended the deadline for me because of difficulty with gathering the application and everything. So yes, if you're going to be graduating or know anyone graduating, please send it their way. We will not be doing any exceptions because we're cutting it very close to the bookstore's capacity. So please go ahead and share that with folks that you know. And if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to send it my way. But yeah, thank you so much, and I yield my time to report.
Thank you so much for your report. Thank you so much to everyone who did make a report. I will now be opening up question time. Does any senator have any questions about the previous stated report? Please raise your tag. Okay, it looks like we have no questions, so we'll be moving on to the reports of committees. Finance Committee, do you have any reports for the Senate?
No reports, but I do want to reemphasize that if any senators or AS officers want to add a financial action item on the Senate order of business, I do require that you send your materials to me no later than no later than Friday at 5 p.m. so that the committee can review it the following week, and so that the committee can then discharge it to the Senate the week after. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that report. Legislative Committee does have a report. We looked over a legislative action item from one of the AS offices to change the standing rules for their office. And we also reviewed 12 submissions, 12 legislative submissions, and we will be voting on what legislative submissions we would want to go forward into Senate by next week. That is all for the reports of the committees. And now we will be moving on to unfinished business. However, it looks like there is no unfinished business, so we'll be moving on to new business. And yeah, we will now begin our new business. The first item is action item A, which is action item election of Senate hiring oversight committee sponsored by Chief Communications Officer Maheen. Is there a motion to approve action item A?
Motion. Second.
All right, it has been properly motioned. I will now open up a speakers list for discussion, reminding senators to raise their hands to be placed on the speakers list for no more than 3 minutes at a time. I know for this specific item, we would have to suspend rules, 1, and 2, you would have to nominate yourself or another senator to be in the Senate Oversight Committee, hiring oversight committee. So just keep that in mind when we do participate in this discussion. For CCO Maheen, would you like to talk about the discussion item or the item?
I mean, I think the CPO covered most of it, unless anyone has any questions that they want to discuss here.
Would anyone like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Senator Lujan to the committee, if it's possible.
Okay, I write this down. Yes, Madam President.
Can I nominate?
Yeah.
I nominate a Senator Padilla.
Senator El Khoury.
Can we, just before we continue with the nomination process, is it possible to get a list of eligible senators? Because the requirements are a bit weird in terms of like, because I don't think everyone knows who's staying on for the next term.
Oh yeah, college senators cannot be participating in this
No.
unless they're reelected, that is. If you're terming out week 5, then you cannot be a part of the hiring oversight committee.
Okay. Is there a list, or are we just going off of? Cool.
So if you're an outgoing senator, you cannot join. Yes.
Can I nominate myself?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I nominate.
Senator Simpson, who would you like to nominate?
Corey.
Okay. This point down. I need to add them to the Please raise your hand again if you would like to be added to the speakers list. Okay.
Elizabeth.
All right. Next would be Senator Tappan. Who would you like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Senator Zapata Castillo.
All right. VPAA Yalamarty. Okay. Next would be Ruby Garcia. Senator Ruby Garcia? Would you like to
I'd
nominate?
just like to nominate myself.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Jacqueline Chang. Would you like to nominate?
I would like to nominate Senator Yu.
Right. Would anyone else like to make any nominations? Please raise your hand. Last call. Yes, Madam President.
Wait, can you review the names so far?
So it's on the screen.
Okay, I see. Thank
Point of information, are we picking from this list like a certain number or is
We're
Oh,
choosing
three
3 people from this list to be a part of it.
Yeah, so the senators would nominate the chair within that committee. Um, I think due to the volume, if we want to do a Google form, I feel like that would be better. So if we want to take like a quick like recess to just do that logistically, I think that would be helpful.
Right. CEO Maheen motioned to take a recess to make a Google form for this, since there is a large amount of people who want to be in the Senate hiring oversight committee. Do you know how long that recess will take?
I think 5 minutes to fix it.
Okay, we'll be taking a 5-minute break. And would anyone like to second that motion? All right. Please get back by 6:55. Recess starts now. All right, we are reconvening at 6:55.
Point of
You-
information,
Yes.
the standing rules just say during the first regular, the Senate shall nominate and elect a Senate pro tempore. So it says the Senate. So I don't know if you're included in that.
Oh, so
I don't know. It just says the Senate.
No, I think I will say that you would vote because when I voted on the impeachment of George, like I got a vote on that.
Okay.
I think in order for me to be able to vote, we would have to suspend standing rules. Because I am chair. Chair usually does not get to vote because they run the meetings unless I have someone else. I do. That's why I need someone to. I just need someone to suspend the standing rules just to be safe. I don't want to be grieved for this. I'm so lost. Can we?
Yeah, exact vote.
Exec vote? I can't vote unless standing rules is motion to be suspended. So, okay. Woo. All right. Let's get back to this. Um, all right. I know Senator Huryadi wants to speak. Senator Huryadi. Oh, never mind. Senator Garcia. Yes. You have the floor.
I was gonna say, just can I motion to suspend the standing rules?
Is there a second? All right. Yay, get to vote. All right. Would anyone like to contribute to the discussion? Please raise your hand.
Can I just I'll raise my
Yes.
thanks. So clarifying question, the only people that are currently present can vote, right? Because I saw it was set in the Slack panel, obviously for those virtual, but just anyone like in the meeting like is allowed to vote, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
All right. Would anyone else like to speak? Please raise your tags.
Wait, sorry to be, point of information, sorry to be that guy, but you motioned to suspend the rules and you got a second, you have to vote.
Are there any objections to suspending the motion? Suspending the rules? Since there's no objections, we'll go straight to the discussion.
I have a question. What time does the form close?
Yes.
I think so. Based on the bylaws, it had to be in Senate, so it had to close at the end of this like item. So as soon as this action item is done, voting's over.
Point of information, where are we, where are we voting?
Yeah, we have to have a discussion. This is, I'm sorry. Would anyone like to contribute to discussion, like talk about your nomination, why you think the person you nominated should be on the hiring oversight committee, or why you should be, or why you should be chair of the oversight committee? So that is why we have this discussion. Would anyone like to speak? Yes, Senator Mowry.
I'd like to pass my time to Senator Lujan to speak on why he's worthy of my nomination.
So I've been a senator for 2 years now, about to graduate, and yeah, I just think it would be a good experience for me. I've seen how a lot of hiring committees go, and I think I'd be good in this one too. So hopefully I get your guys' vote. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, thank you. Seriously. Thank you.
Do you yield your time to the floor? All right, Madam President.
I just have a clarifying question because I kind of just want to get this like vote done. So when we're nominating, like this is like the first process, like 3 senators, and then afterwards we go ahead and vote on the chair.
No, because this is choice ranking on the form. So whoever is ranked number one for like the majority or like the highest, no, is nominated by the Senate. The Senate oversight. Yeah, but the Senate I didn't get to finish my sentence. The Senate oversight hiring, like the Senate hiring oversight committee would be the ones choosing the chair.
Okay, that makes sense. So within those 3, they would nominate.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all I have to say. You my time for.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Point of information, the voting link is it's the one in Slack, right? Okay, cool. Thank.
Would anyone like to speak? Please raise your tag. Yes, Senator El Khoury.
Yeah, I guess I'll just speak on behalf of myself. I did join Senate about halfway through the year, so I do not have as much experience as some of the other senators, but I think I can confidently say that I've had one of the best attendance records of any of this. I've looked at the CFO nodding at me because we have had severe attendance issues, at least in Finance Committee. Considering that this is extra workload being taken, I think it's imperative that we make sure that anyone who's on this has shown a history of reliably showing up to all the meetings and putting in the required workload and actually caring about everything that is happening. And I understand that over the course of the year, people might not be able to commit all their time to Senate. We are students first, after all. But at least I can confidently say that for the rest of the year, having been reelected, I am ready to put in the workload. And at this point, I have become very familiar with the work that all the C-suite officers do. And obviously, I have not had as much time with the chief personnel officer and the chief communications officer, but definitely I've tried to make myself aware of all the roles that the executive has done, and I'm ready to be impartial and to elect the future and not elect, appoint the future AVPs and C-suite officers in that respect.
Thank you so much. Next is Senator Garcia.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to apologize firstly for not being in person today. I usually am also on time and present. However, I'm not feeling very well. With that being said, I'd like to just touch on like my nomination. I think I'm more than qualified to take on this role. I think I've been like told to be a very trustworthy and equal person within the Senate and also like within AS in general. For like some background information, I joined last year as comms director for the Office of External Affairs, and I've been on several hiring committees. I've even been asked by several AVPs for my opinion and to be like on hiring committees. I overall think that this is a committee that needs to be implemented. I'm really glad it's being implemented, and I'm excited to like see and hopefully be a part of it. So I'm just asking the Senate for your vote, as I just hope to like make sure we have equality within our Senate and going forward for these state level positions and all the other positions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next is Senator Zapata Castillo.
Yeah, so I can just speak on behalf of myself. So I feel like I'm perfectly qualified also to be nominated just because as someone who was a first year fellow and then was able to serve 2 terms as campus-wide senator, I was able to understand like how each and very different are the offices are. And I feel like I'm more than qualified because I try to show up to Senate, and I've previously done hiring committees for several different offices as well. And yeah, I try to like see the input of each and every different individual. So I feel like I would really apply that here. And yeah.
Senator Bautista.
Yeah, I would also just like to advocate on my behalf. I've only been in AS this 1 year, but even within this 1 year, I've seen, ways we can improve and seen things that, maybe aren't functioning very well. So I definitely like want to stay, even though I'm graduating and it won't necessarily impact me in the future of the association. I'd also like to say my attendance is pretty great. Like I genuinely don't know a Senate meeting I missed, maybe like one, I don't know. So yeah, I'm dedicated. I'm here. I've passed multiple pieces of legislation. I'm active. Um, I also am an English major, unlike a STEM major, so I do have free time in my life. Um, so yeah, I'd love to help kind of push forward where this association would go next year with an impartiality.
Thank you so much. Next is uh, Senator Padilla Macias.
Thank you. Just to like advocate for myself, I think while yes, this is my first year and I may not necessarily have the same experience as my what's sort my peers, I really do try to make an effort to, show up for Senate and, put in my input whenever needed. I also want to say that I've been very nonpartisan and like I always try to treat every side equally, even though sometimes I know AS can be very messy. And I acknowledge that. And so just like taking everything, like I said, like, I try to show up. I vote when like I vote and then, I do what needs to be needed and I didn't get reelected, so I honestly have nothing to lose. I just want to ensure that whoever gets elected actually like I just want to make sure that we have a good people in cabinet just because as we've seen this year like absences are like it's insane, so I just want to make sure that whoever's in office like actually cares.
Thank you so much. Next will be Senator Yu.
Hi everyone, I'm the current senator and I will be here for another term. I've served on a lot of like hiring committees for like council, but also for within AS offices, so I'm pretty familiar with the process. And overall, in general, I like to advocate for like transparency and also like a fair hiring process, which I've definitely tried to do like within council and also at AS. So I would love to be able to do that again.
Thank you so much, Senator Yu. Next is Senator Simpson.
I'd like to advocate for Senator Zapata Castillo just because I think she has a bunch of experience in AS, multiple years. Also, just like a side note, she's ran multiple times in AS and has never been on a slate, has always been independent. And just from speaking with her, she's always been super impartial. So I think I would definitely advocate for her. I think Senator Yu as well, actually, is great as well. She just ran for 7th Senator, won again, wasn't involved in any campus-wide election or any of that stuff. So I think she would be super impartial as well, and also has that experience too. So I'd love to advocate for both of those people. Thank you.
Madam President.
Oh yeah, so like before we like conclude like the conversation, I just want to say whoever is elected into this role, please, please, please like be prepared to like be on top of your deadlines, being someone that has been on the hiring committee for all of the AVPs and C levels for the past 2 years. It is a huge commitment in terms of like ensuring you get your scores in time. If you don't submit it on time, then the committee has to move on to the whole larger process. So I just hope that like you're everyone is being intentional with like them trying to be in this role and really just seeing the larger picture since this will be leading and deciding all of the future ASs. And also, if you are the chair, that is your responsibility too, to like be leading and supporting other senators. And so I just want to say like, yeah, firstly for me, the only senator that I've worked with on like a hiring committee that can come to mind is both Zapata Castillo and Diaz. And I know like they were very like quick to submit their scores on time and everything. So like that's all I can sincerely attest to. I also think like a lot of these candidates are really great. So regardless of who gets it, just please don't let everyone else kind of wait for your scores since I will be on that committee with you all. So yeah, just please be sincere. Thank you. I yield my time to the floor.
Just point of information. So for all of you that are filling out the form, you guys are only allowed to rank 3 candidates and you can only give 1 number per candidate. So you guys can't give 3 candidates like the highest priority number. So there's been a lot of people that have ranked more than 3 candidates or have assigned like three different candidates at number one. So William's going to create like a copy of the form. We're going to redo it again. So make sure you're only ranking three candidates and you're only assigning one number per each candidate.
Point of information. If I were to vote, would I be able to only vote for one or two candidates and not all three?
You have to vote for at least three candidates, or
Okay.
you have to vote for three candidates, no more nor less.
Right. Do we include an option to abstain? So we can't obtain a decision?
This is a very important decision to me.
I think based on the wording, it doesn't account for abstain, so I don't think that's feasible.
Point of information as well. I think, I know we can't really put this in here, but if you have a plan to run for a position, I would highly advise that you don't join this, because you would have to excuse yourself from that anyway, and so it's just, morally it doesn't really seem right either. So just, yeah, if you guys are planning on that, I would go into it.
Unless you're running for an AVP, if you're chair, you can't be a part of the hiring committee, but I believe if you are a part of the hiring committee and not the chair, you can run for AVP in the future, so it's okay. You can't.
No, so to re-clarify, like the committee as a whole, all three committee members will be doing all of the written apps together. So if you are applying to any of our C-levels AVP positions, you cannot run for this committee position at all. So the chair will be the only one going through the entire process. So after the written application, only the chair will be able to vote in the private and public interviews for the rest of the process. But everybody will be doing the apps, all three committee members. Yeah.
Another point of information. Oh my God, so sorry. I need to re-explain this. I obviously, if you are up here and you are potentially on the committee, you should not be on this committee if you plan on running. But I also personally think that you shouldn't be voting on them as well, because if you plan on running and you're allowed to vote for the people who oversee yourself, I think that's also kind of like a conflict of interest. So if you plan on running for any of these, I don't think that you should be voting for members in this committee.
I kind of wanted to add on that.
Point of order.
Point of information. I just want to add on Senator Simpson's point on.
Point of order, that's not a question.
So point of information, can we remodify this document to include a section where we can abstain for choice? Because regardless, it won't change the outcome of the order of who was ranked the highest. To CCO.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nicolette, but that would require an amendment for the bylaws because that's not in our lane. The legislation that went through and the legislation that is now in the bylaws just created this process, didn't stipulate for abstains. Therefore, to add that, you'd have to amend the bylaws, so to speak, I'm pretty sure. Because that's where the language sits right now.
Point of order, the line just says the Senate will appoint 3 members based on ranked choice voting. That doesn't even say that you have to rank the top 3. You could theoretically rank more because ranked choice voting is I'm assuming it's a single vote that transfers if it's not right, because that's what are we doing single sets right? That's the thing.
It would
not
have to be
clear.
it would have
I
to be
think we
3
have
though.
discussion to decide this.
Yes, Senator Padilla-Macias.
First, I'd like to denominate myself, so take me off the list, please. Second of all, can we just vote? Just vote for 3 people you want. Thank you. I yield my time to the floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Point of order, we have already suspended the rules. We can absolutely do this. Right?
I mean, still there's order. There's still order, and if I am also chairing this, so I can call whatever I want. Sorry. Next, CPO McCadney.
Oh yeah, but this is my like last statement, so hopefully we can start soon. But this would be actually the Senate's like last input that they put on appointments altogether. The actual people that will confirm all of these appointments is the new Senate terming in on week 10. This would be basically like if you're on this committee, this is the last time you'll ever actually have a say so outside of just a public vote on any of the people being appointed. So also keep that in mind that the people that you were appointing to this committee will be the last time that this Senate will have like a say so in our future offices. So thank you. But yes, please vote soon in a second. I think the link's open. Thank
With
you.
point of order, or I don't think some of us have access to the form. Like it says we need access to view it.
It should be updated now. I mean, if the Senate wants to add an abstain, I think you all can. It just isn't in the language, is the thing I'm stressing, but up to you all. Yeah.
Can I just another point of order? So how is the vote gonna actually work? Like we'd vote for the top three. How do you count that? What are you gonna do? Yeah.
All right, yeah. So the way it works is that the highest priority gets, so if someone gets voted as the highest priority, they get 3 points. If they're voted second, they get 2 points. If they're voted as lowest priority, they get 1 point. And if they weren't voted, they just get 0 for that person voting, and then all the points just get added up.
Would anyone else like to speak? Please raise your hand. All right, it looks like no one else would like to speak, so we'll be going on to voting. Please access the Google form. Please let me know if you have not accessed it yet once we start the I will stop the vote at 7:25. Is anyone still voting? Yes, no, because if not, we're going to close the voting. So please raise your hand now or say something. No. All right, we're going to close the vote. So,
Motion for a 2-minute recess to count the votes.
all right, is there a second? All right, that has been properly motioned. Are there any objections? No? All right, we'll have a 2-minute recess. So please reconvene by 7:25. finalized, so we will be reviewing what the vote is. Results, I mean. I give time to whoever can explain the vote.
Okay, so the three senators that were selected are Senator Zapata Castillo, Senator El Khoury, and Senator Batista.
Let's go. All right. So between the three of you, you guys would have to decide who's going to be the chair of the Senate Hiring Oversight Committee. Yes, TK McCartney.
I'll also be reaching out to you guys most likely tomorrow with like a lot of more like formal procedure that we're gonna follow, just because I'm gonna be helping you guys like pick it up. So look out for like me creating like a Slack channel with the three of you so we can go over that.
All right. Yes, Madam President.
Wait, so the names that you said, was it like the order of like who got first ranking and then second ranking? Third? Okay, just asking. Thank you.
All right. Are there any other questions before we move on to the next item? All right, we'll be moving on to the next item, which is the Muir College Earth Day sponsored by Senator Carlson. Do we have a motion for this item? Oh. Would anyone like to motion to reinstate the bylaws?
Motion to
moved.
reinstate the bylaws.
Who seconded? Sorry. Okay. All right. We have, are there any objections to reinstating the bylaws? All right, since there are no objections, we'll be moving forward with reinstating the bylaw. Next, we'll be moving on to the next item, which will be Muir College Earth Day, which is sponsored by Senator Carlson. Is there a motion for this item?
Motion.
Is there a second? All right. Looks like it's been properly motioned and seconded. However, I do not see the senator here to explain the item.
I think she left for RA duty. I'm not mistaken.
Can anyone speak for Senator Carlson? Yes, CFO Hong. You have 3 minutes.
So I guess just to reiterate on this item, I've also shared it in the Senate Slack channel, but this is mainly to fund food for Friday's event covers Earth Day and Earth Week. But the $300 budget breakdown is in the Slack channel. It's 300, but it's the actual request amount is less than 300. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I yield my time back to the floor.
Senator Carlson, are you on Zoom? Would you like to speak?
Hi, sorry. Yes, yeah. I have a class,
Right, you-
but I just stepped out for a moment.
Okay.
So the focus of our event, it's an Earth Day and environmental justice event. And we're expecting about 60 people in attendance for reference.
All right. I'll now be opening the floor for discussion. If you would like to speak, please raise your tag. Yes, Senator El Khoury.
Yeah, I will say I'm not opposed to this in principle. It looks like a good event, and I'm very happy that our center funds are being spent. But I think having sat in a lot of finance committee meetings where student orgs have to answer a lot of very hard questions about their funding, I think just us as associated students, we should be a little more responsible with how soon we submit a request, how detailed we are. I'm pretty sure student orgs are submitting theirs well over a month in advance, and this event is this Friday. And this is not just targeted one person. I know this is how a lot of events have been handled previously. So this is just a bit of reflection, especially for people who will be staying on for the next year, to take into account that our pro staff and a lot of people on the executive side have to do a lot of logistics when it comes to giving out money, and it's not an open purse to take when we need it. We have to actually give our submissions and make sure that we're handling our budget, that the students who elect us pay with respect. And I just hope that in the future we do actually do that. Thank you.
All right, next is Senator Carlson.
To respond to that, this was submitted actually over 3 weeks ago. We had some issues because the TAP link was not which is why it took a while, because I had to go through. I have access to a TME card that I'm able to make these purchases on. So I was approved for everything else. I was just actually waiting for everything to be finalized through the AS side of things. But I'll be able to make this purchase, so pro staff won't have to do anything other than confirm that I'm allowed to have the COA numbers. So I will say there was a lot of preparation going into this, and the fact that the detailed report was in my senator file, which I was under the impression would be included with my information. And that was what I had linked and I had submitted when I submitted the order of business, but it didn't go in. But any senator should have been able to access that in the files. So the fact that that wasn't there, that was still available for Finance Committee to review today, just in response to that comment.
We believe you, Queen. Would anyone else like to speak? Yes, Senator Simpson.
This went through Finance Committee. Right? And what was Finance Committee's input? Was it similar? Like that?
At least at the time, I guess you're bringing the floor to me. At least at the time it was presented to Finance Committee, at least either the sheets wasn't there, or we didn't have access to it, or there was some logistical issue. I understand that these things happen. It was not meant as a personal attack. Jacob is pointing at himself. Can I yield the floor to him, or have to?
So
I
you
yield
have
back to William.
Yeah. CFO Hung, you may speak.
Yeah, so I first caught wind of this request at the start of this week, and then I didn't get materials until Monday. So this first came to my my desk Monday, and I didn't get a budget breakdown until like 5 o'clock. Yeah, that's just like to provide some context to this, and that's why we couldn't review the budget breakdown at Finance Committee.
With that, can I call to question on the item at hand?
The only person who can call to question is the one who was speaking last. So the last person to speak is Senator Simpson.
I never yielded my time. So
Okay.
I'd like to call to question.
I reclaim my time and call the question.
Yeah, it's Senator Simpson's.
And whoever does it, I second. I don't like.
All right. So because there's a call to question, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any? Are there any objections? No. All right. We'll be going forward with the voting of financial action item B, which is Muir College Earth Day, sponsored by Senator Carlson. Clerk, may we conduct a vote? Nelly Zapata Castillo. Yes. Elena Padilla Macias. Yes. Lisbeth Diaz. Uli Harati. Alex Lujan.
Yes.
Savannah Madan.
Yes.
Ruby Garcia. Ashlyn Batista. Daniel Perez. Jennifer Ruiz. Gage Mowry.
Yes.
Nicholas Tappan.
Yes.
Trinidad Hellman. McKenna Carlson.
Yes.
Kayla Hyun. Fiza Omer. Rhea George.
Yes.
Elena Shabandarian.
Yes.
Asta Shaw. William Simpson.
Yes.
Faisal El-Khoury.
Yes.
Piper Lord. Erica Yu.
Yes.
Jacqueline Chang.
Yes.
Avantika Ramasamy.
Yes.
Leslie Vallejo Avila.
Yes.
Rishi Alamardi. Eduardo Tapia Jr. Bieta.
Yes.
Jacob Hong,
Yes.
Denisha McCadney,
Yes.
William Maheen.
Yes.
$21 to 0.
All right, so the vote is 21 to 0. So we'll be moving forward with the approval of action item B, financial item Muir College Earth Day sponsored by Senator Carlson. Congrats. Now we'll be moving on to announcements. Please raise your tags if you would like to make an announcement, but I'll go first. Congrats to everyone who won the elections, and I hope that you guys do well once most of the seniors leave. But good luck on everyone who did get elected. Second, the SBSH fair, the by GenUp and other offices within AS, is this Friday on the 25th from 12 to 3. So if you can go, please show up. If you can repost the post, please do. That would be amazing. And feel free to show up. We're giving out free sex toys, free sex toys and food, and raffles for a lot of things. Next, Senator Mowry.
Hello. Yeah, this is a bit of a repeat from my assembly spiel, but just kind of plugging that Ravel is going to have an open Senate seat. We had one senator elected, but are still looking for someone to be our second senator. The application should be opening within the next few weeks, but I encourage anybody that knows any Revelians to start looking at Ravel College Council, seeing if they want to get involved, and just start exploring their options, because there is a possibility to be involved in both AS and Ravel next year. So yeah, wanted to plug that opportunity.
Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to make an announcement? Yes, Senator Padilla Macias.
I think I'm the only one. I don't know, but oh my God, I can't even speak. Happy Lesbian Visibility Week. Thank you.
Woohoo! Let's go lesbians. Let's go lesbians. Okay.
Okay.
Senator Simpson.
Also, just tell all your friends and everyone you know to apply for the open AVP and C-level positions. I really hope that we can see a bunch of applications, just so that we can like ensure that we have really high quality applicants, especially going into next year. So yeah, if you guys could like put on your Instagram story, send it out, all that stuff. Thank you.
Madam President. Oh wait, actually no, Senator Bautista. Okay, Madam President.
Oh yeah, once again, I hope that I can see you all at my event next Tuesday. That would mean a lot. And also please continue to share the basic grad pack. We've already had 86 applications in the past like 30 minutes or so. So just please continue to share that so we can support as many graduating students as possible. So thank you. Give my time to support.
Would anyone else like to make an announcement? No? All right. Clerk, can we conduct a roll call vote? Roll call.
Nelly Zapata Castillo,
Here.
Elena Padilla Macias, Lisbeth Diaz, Willie Haradi,
Here.
Alex Lujan, Devana Madan,
Here.
Ruby Garcia,
Here.
Ashlyn Batista, Daniel Perez, Jennifer Ruiz, Gage Mowry,
Roger that, y'all.
Nick Tappan,
Roger that, y'all.
Trinidad Hellman, McKenna Carlson, Haley Hun, Fiza
Here.
Omer, Rhea George,
Here.
Elena. Can we keep it down really quick, just until we finish? Sorry, thank you. Elena Shavandarian,
Here.
Asta Shaw, William Simpson,
Here.
Faisal Corey,
Here.
Piper Lord, Erica Yu,
Here.
Jacqueline Chang,
Here.
Avantika Ramasamy,
Here.
Leslie Vallejo Avila,
Good night, everyone.
Vanna Hong,
Good night, chat.
Rishi Alamardi, Eduardo Tapia Jr. Bieta,
Here.
Jacob Hong, Janice McCadney,
Here.
William Maheen.
Good night, everyone.